Начался успешно. Это полет имел несколько особенностей. Во-первых, впервые представитель Республики Бразилия совершил полет. У него большая насыщенная программа. Проект называется «Centenário», полет столетия. Так назван в честь знаменательного события для Бразилии. Столетие полета первого бразильского авиатора Альберто Сантоса Дюмана в 1906 году был совершен. У бразильского проекта насыщенная программа по ряду направлений: биотехнологии, биологии, технологического эксперимента. Также, мы должны отметить, что планируемая длительность полета 178 суток. Но здесь возможны варианты в связи с тем, что есть некая неопределенность в программах полетов шаттлов, и поэтому, возможно, эту дату можно
uncertainty in the shuttle flight program. There probably will be certain corrections.
Предстоит выполнить
the crew of Expedition 13 will be performing 43 experiments, so this is a very extensive scientific program. And now we are about to proceed with our press conference, and I would like to introduce the participants. Nikolai Nikolaevich, President and General Designer of the Energia Space Corporation, and academician Nikolai Apollonovich Anfimov, Valery Alexandrovich Green, Chair of the Committee, Vasily Tsibleev, Vladimir Alexeyevich Solovyov, Mission Operation Director,
руководитель нашего пилотируемого направления в агентстве, Билл Гестермайер, заместитель НАСА,
Deputy Program Director, NASA,
руководитель программы НАСА, от Бразилии Раймундо Муси,
representative from Brasilia, the program lead for this project. And now I would like to give the floor to Nikolai Nikolaevich Sevastyanov. Launch and docking, as you have seen, was nominal. The crew was prepared very well, and we hope that the crew will perform the entire program successfully, and we also wish them successful landing. And Valery Tokolev, Bill MacArthur, and Brazilian cosmonaut will return to Earth together. And now we can call Marcus cosmonaut. And now we can say that the first part of the flight program is completed. And now, Mr. Bill Gerstenmaier.
And thank you for a great launch and a great docking.
Хотел бы поблагодарить всех еще раз за великолепный запуск и прекрасную стыковку.
We look forward to a good expedition and a great year on board Space Station.
Мы с нетерпением будем ждать прекрасной работы этой экспедиции, а также дальнейшей работы в течение года.
Senhor Presidente, em primeiro lugar, eu quero agradecer não somente a colaboração que estamos recebendo, não só da Roscosmos, mas também da Energia, do Centro de Treinamento de Astronautas, do Centro de Controle de Voo e do Instituto de Problemas Médicos da Academia de Ciências no desenvolvimento do nosso programa.
Mr. Moiseev, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to thank you all, not only Roscosmos, but everybody who was working on this program, and also the Space Corporation, Energia, and Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center, all mission control operators, and the Institute of Life Sciences.
É uma realidade e continuaremos aí. Portanto, o que nos aqui é apenas uma importante etapa de uma série de projetos que vamos fazer a bordo da ISS. Muito obrigado.
Our program, our scientific program in the microgravity, is only a small part. We are just beginning our scientific program, and we would like to thank you all again for this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Что там такое? Уважаемые гости, значит,
Distinguished guests,
микрофоны работают.
all the microphones are on, so Sergei Babayev, Channel 1. Well, everything went nominal, we saw it, but is it now clear what happened during launch when there were telemetry problems? And the second question, is there any understanding as to when the next shuttle will be flying to the station?
Уважаемые гости,
Distinguished guests, we're having our press conference. So if you have any questions, if anything remained unclear, then we'll answer it after the press conference.
хорошо, значит, я понимаю, что на португальский язык надо переводить.
Okay, I understand that the translation into Portuguese is also required. Please go ahead.
Во время запуска все нормально было, корабль.
Launch was nominal. All vehicle systems are working nominally. There was a moment when there was an intermission in the telemetry channel. That was about receiving the telemetry via Russian ground sites, but everything was under crew control. The crew had all the information, and they reported to the ground that everything is nominal. As you can see now, all systems are nominal, no comments, and the docking occurred exactly at the scheduled time. I would like to clarify. We are talking about the 15-minute delay of the telemetry data. It was a bit late after the crew reported the data. So it's just we didn't have it, we didn't see it on the displays, but the crew confirmed all the data. So there is nothing really serious about that delay. Well, first, I wanted to give the floor to NASA Administrator because he is here, Mr. Bill Gistermeyer, and then I will offer my comments.
The shuttle launch is scheduled to July 1st.
В настоящий момент запуск шаттла планируется на 1 июля.
And we have a launch window between July 1st and July 19th.
И окно для запуска у нас 1 июля по 19 июля.
We understand the work required to get the shuttle ready to fly, and it looks like we should be there for the July launch.
Мы прекрасно сейчас понимаем всю работу, которую нам предстоит сделать до этого запуска, и мы рассчитываем, что мы уложимся в это окно запуска шаттла.
Anybody wants to add something? Not really. Please, Olga. Russian TV channel. I have a question. Have we completed our commitments in terms of free delivery of the crew members on board the space station? And what are our plans for future? in this regard. Let me give the mic to Alexei Borisovich. Right now, let me explain our relationship. Roscosmos provides flight services, and Energia is responsible for logistics, vehicle manufacturing, launch, and landing. So let me give the microphone to Alexei Borisovich. What can I say or other confirm that, yes, we have all the agreements. They have been achieved. We signed the contract for the current year. And in our plan, we also will be signing the contract outlining the service provisions up to year 2011. So all the questions that were valid last year, for example, how shall we return Bill MacArthur, I can answer that he'll be back on Soyuz vehicle on April 9th. So they will be back on Earth safely, don't worry about it. In other words, has it been paid for? Yes, partially for this year plans. The payments have been made in accordance with the scheduled payment plan. And also, one more clarification from the NASA representatives. Are they satisfied with the way this complicated situation has been resolved for the U.S. side? Because it seems like many problems have been eliminated.
Да, мы очень довольны тем, как все разрешилось, как все действует.
And as we said before, the partnership is strong, and we live up to our commitments, and we work together as a team.
И, как мы говорили ранее, наше партнерство очень сильное, и оно будет продолжаться в том же духе выполнения взаимных обязательств. Мы сейчас выполняем тот план, о котором мы говорили в прошлом году, и мы еще раз это подтверждаем.
Пожалуйста, еще вопрос.
Any more questions? Itartas, question to Nikolai Sevastyanov. Along the lines of communication interruption. You remember the same occurred during the docking when Solyzhan Sharipov would dock in the vehicle. So, and what are the next plans that you plan to execute? Yes, exactly. The first time it happened 6 years ago, we docked Progress to the station in the teleoperator mode, and we took a look at it one more time, and we must understand that the control system that was designed and built in 60s and 70s. We have many other users of Molniya satellite. That is why today we suggested to use Yamal satellites. You know, they also are used for oil and gas industry, for the television systems in Russia. This is a modern system, and yes, we suggested to use it. And at the chief designer meeting, we made a decision to arrange the network of Yamal satellites that will be used in future. Currently, we plan to complete this work in 3 months, and this is our goal. 3 months. Also, I would like to add something. Yes, communication is a very important issue. So we will also work on the fiber optic channels. And you know that we use the TIDRI satellite system, and the agreement has been achieved to use it up to year 2011. But I must emphasize that both using TIDRIS and Yamal requires certain upgrades in the Soyuz and Progress vehicles. For Yamals, there are no need in upgrades in the vehicles, but for Tidrises, yes. Also today, we will be reviewing the possibility of using the relay satellites so that we could do the relay comm from the vehicles via Yamal satellite. This is an issue for future. Any more questions? If you have no more questions, or does Brazilian side have any more questions? Brazilian correspondents, do you have any questions? Okay, please go ahead.
Queria fazer uma pergunta sobre a questão da transmissão durante o lançamento. Parece que houve um corte de transmissão na comunicação durante o lançamento. Eu queria saber de quanto tempo foi esse corte, por que isso aconteceu?
Again, we have intermission in communication. For how long? That was right after launch. We lost communication for a brief period of time. So for how long and why? No, I'm talking about the launch, but actually the answer has been given already. Just for understanding of the current situation, sometimes we have scheduled loss of communication. We even have 9-hour periods when we cannot talk to the crew and do not receive any information from the vehicle. So for 9 hours they are in autonomous mode in that regard. And when the vehicle is flying over Russia in the Russian ground side coverage zones, this is how the communication is arranged currently. We only have communication with the vehicle when they fly over the ground sites. During launch, since those ground sites are operated via Molnia satellite, we had a 15-minute interruption in the communication with the vehicle.
Problema com dos pontos de recepção e uma interrupção de 15 minutos.
So, this situation is not unusual, and the vehicle is fully operational without communication with the ground, but also the crew was monitoring the situation, and the crew voiced all the necessary information down. And that included the TV image. In other words, we had communication with the crew. The crew commander was looking at the displays and was reporting the data to the ground. You said there was a 15-minute interruption. We only did not have telemetry, and that did not affect the TV image. How we actually had communication. So the interruption in communication was expected. I must say that during the flight up to April 9, you will have 4 TV conferences during which you will have a chance to talk to Marcos Pontes.
Então, os senhores terão a oportunidade de contactar com Marcos Pontes. Então, preparem-se para isso.
Queria acrescentar, aparentemente a Roscosmos teria iniciado uma investigação sobre a causa da falha. Eu queria saber se isso é verdade e quando seriam divulgados os resultados.
As we heard, Roscosmos must conduct the investigation of that interruption in the communication, and we wanted to know, is this true, and when can we receive the results? We always investigate any faults that might occur. This is our general practice, and we will do that within the nearest weeks. But the communication is restored and everything is working. Again, I have to explain it one more time. We did not have interruption in the communication with the crew. One more question. Interfax agency. It is known that 2 crew members are space veterans. They have been in space before, and the Brazilian cosmonaut is in space for the first time. And from the information coming from the crew, how does he feel? And also, how was his training?
Como é que eles estão se adaptando, se já mantém comunicação, então como é que eles estão se sentindo em termos das condições de gravidade, de falta de gravidade?
Well, what can I say? By the way, the picture that we saw during lunch, he was smiling all the way through the launch and ascent, so I guess we can judge his great spirits by looking at that picture. If we have any additional questions, we have representatives of professional medical communities, so they can give you a detailed description of how he feels, and as far as we know, he's still smiling. One more question. Do we have a lot of questions left? No, I have one and the short one. Okay, go ahead. My question to Mr. Raimundo Mussi. We were very happy to see the reaction in Brazil during the launch of your cosmonauts. Actually, there were interruptions in the soccer matches, and we understand what that means for Brazilians and Brazilian television.
Ao ver a emoção que foi no Brasil, o lançamento e o povo assistindo pela televisão o lançamento de Marcos Pontes.
Could you please repeat the second part of your question? Today we'll have a direct communication with Marcus on board the space station. So does everyone in Brazil still expect this direct communication?
Primeiramente, o brasileiro é povo emocional e nós nos orgulhamos disso.
First, I would like to tell that Brazilian people are very emotional people, and we're very proud now.
Brasileiro no espaço significava para todos nós pouquinho de cada brasileiro que estava lá.
One Brazilian cosmonaut means that a small part of each Brazilian is now in space.
Que até o pouso de Pontes e de toda a tripulação 12 que virá com ele, todo o coração dos brasileiros estarão com eles. E por que não dizer, pedindo a Deus que tudo dê certo?
I'm sure that all the way through the moment of landing, when Marcus Pontes will be back together with the Expedition 12 crew, the hearts of all Brazilians will be with him. Now, medical questions. We have our professionals here. Valery Vasilievich Bogomolov, Deputy Director of the Institute of Life Sciences, is ready to answer those questions. Based on the medical monitoring data and observations, based on the medical monitoring data, all crew members during the entire flight is good, feel good.
Permitem dizer que o estado de saúde e o estado emocional de todos os meus componentes está muito bem.
Cosmonauts started performing the flight program. The adaptation period goes normally, including Marcus Pontes. No difference from other crew members.
Bom estado.
One more question, if I may. Kovalev Alexander, Novosti. My question for Alexei Borisovich Krasnov regarding next seat for space tourist. What about the Japanese candidate, Mr. Yamamoto? Did you sign the contract with him? And will he become the next space tourist? Or also we heard the information that the first woman might become a space tourist, Ms. Ansari, an American. As far as our plans for space tourism, I would like to pay attention to the terminology. By now, for a long period of time, we do not use the term tourist any longer, because you can see that every participant of the space flight, that's what we use for those. Participant, because now this is a term included in our official documentation, because that person is really a participant and he flies to the station and conducts a serious scientific program. It's not a simple fun trip. They are expected to conduct serious work and they do scientific research, so they are spaceflight participants. About our future plans, yes, we plan to launch Citizen of Japan in fall. Also, he has a very complicated scientific program to be completed, and the contract has been signed in terms of backup. Yes, you're right. There was an information about possible participation of Ms. Ansari, and we reviewed this possibility, but there have been no resolution on this issue yet. So I believe we are not quite prepared to comment on this, but we are discussing the possibilities of Ms. Ansari's flight, because she expressed her wish to fly to the space station. this is a series of candidates that we're reviewing right now. Also, we have one candidate to become a participant. This is the U.S. citizen, Mr. Simoni. We are also reviewing him as a potential candidate. His name is Simoni. I'm sorry, I can't remember his first name, but I remember his last name for sure. Did I answer your question? And also Malaysia is one of the countries. And also the representatives of the Republic of Korea addressed us. I would like to review the possibility of flying their citizen to the station in or around the year 2008. Dear participants, thank you very much. This is it for now, and now we are waiting for the hatch opening.